to do these robotics activities. So please don't mind the background. And this is what it actually looks like. My desk usually, I don't think I'll be able to show you, but yeah, it's just full of mostly electronic equipment, some of which I will actually show you today, and so that you can get a better idea of what robotics is and why should children be doing electronics, and how does it play, how is it in line with children who are interested in writing or creativity, and so on and so forth. So yeah, well, it's 4:30, so let's start. So I'm Ritika Amit Kumar, and I run a company called Curious Kids Media Tech, and we're into various formats of learning. One is robotics, the other one is newspapers. We run newspapers for children, and very recently we published this book called Strange Things. Why I'm talking about this is because it's a complete STEM. This book is an outcome of an entire STEM based curriculum that we had. Um, so so a couple of things to begin with. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And now there is a variation to it. It's called STEAM. And STEAM includes art as well. So the A in between is for art. And art is basically creativity, writing, music, drawing, so on and so forth. Uh, so, uh, so very recently, in fact, we got accredited by STEM.org USA, and one of the things that came up was that, they wanted to understand how flexible are the learning mechanisms within the organization, and this gave us a better understanding of what STEM means. So getting to it, STEM essentially is nothing much but uh, a thought process that helps us integrate science and technology into everything that we do. So, so I will take you through some of the things that come up. A lot of children, a lot of parents ask me, what is the right time and right age for, parents to introduce their children to STEM-based education programming, robotics, and so on and so forth. And my answer to that is that you can start as early as 3 or 4, because children really start exploring at that stage, and they're at their peak of exploring things, in fact, at that time. And if you introduce storytelling and science in a very story kind of way, and if you build stories around science, they would learn things much faster. One of the things that I personally started off with kids was this. This is something called snap circuits, and it's nothing but a circuit board which has these buttons, so you can pull them off and put them in. Children love doing these things, and and what happens is they learn very simple things. How does a switch work? So if you can see, this fan is moving, and now it's stopped. So if you turn the switch on, switch off, what happens when you turn the switch on? What happens? Why does the fan switch off, turn off, and the switch turns when you turn it off? So these are mechanisms that are very easy to introduce to kids at a very early age. And this is also a time when they're picking up language. So it becomes very important for them to understand cause and effect relationships. So, and in fact, that helps in building their thought process. In today's day and time, it's very important for children to understand how to learn or how to think than, telling them what to think and what to learn. So, STEM helps us build that integrated thought process in children. So they learn how to do things in a sequence. It's called sequential learning, in fact. There are programs that have been built by MIT, that's Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the US. One of their products is called Scratch. Scratch is free to use, and children can build stories using it. They can program their own animation using it. They can build very simple apps, like a quiz app or a gaming app. So and these are all drag and drop things. But what happens is when a child actually starts dragging those things in, he starts realizing, okay, if I do this and then I do that action, this is what is going to happen. So they learn this concept of sequential thinking, putting things in a process, which is a stepping stone for programming later on. And programming isn't just for children who are technically minded, who have a technical bent of mind. It's now for everyone, because everybody needs to know how to build things and program things. So it's very important that even if your child wants to be a writer, he should know how to think in a sequential way, and he should also learn how to, he should also have that skill of language. So STEAM based education in fact just integrates that. So I'll give you a brief story about this book. This book is a compilation of stories written by 12 children, and it's about humans and robots coexisting, living together. And you will be surprised that some of these stories are adventure stories, some of them are very scientific, and some of them are very emotional, like the story about this child who has half a family that's a robot and half of them are humans. So the father and the daughter are humans, the mother and the son are robots. And how and all of the how it all happens is a very logical sequence. There's another story about robots having feelings. So this is all about creativity and science together. And whenever we teach robotics, in fact, we don't teach just the mechanical side of things or the theory of things. We also get children to fantasize. So when you get children to do something that's science oriented and then you get them to build a fantasy around it, the kind of thoughts that come up are phenomenal. Like very recently we had a child who built this a car similar to this. This one I made during the lockdown phase at home, but this is a car that has a, I don't think you can see the whole thing because I'm using my laptop camera. Uh, so if you can see this, okay, I'll just disconnect it from here so you can get a better look of it. I'm just disconnecting the power supply. This has a distance sensor to it. It's an ultrasonic sensor. It also has a Bluetooth chip. So you can actually control it via an app, and a simple app like this, which acts as a remote control. So what happens really is, there was this child who built it, and then I told them to fantasize, and when she was fantasizing, she came across something. She said that she wanted to build a time machine, and she built a fuel tank of a time machine. She drew it, and I was wondering, how did this come by? Like, how did you thinking of a fuel tank to design after building a car like this? So she said that very recently she read in the newspaper, uh, this is a kid's paper, that there was a new planet that had been found, and there was a light, uh, and it was being said that this planet, the light that we are receiving from this planet, is a couple of millions of years old, because it takes that much time for light to travel to, because the planet is so far away. So she said, what if we could build a machine that was faster than the speed of light? And what if it went into space and then came back faster than the speed of light? Maybe it would be able to relive the moment of the rocket launch. I was zapped. If a child can think, and this is a 9-year-old kid, and if she can think like this, it just shows she's thought of the science side of things. She's imagined a lot of stuff. She's integrated something that she read along with something that she did using her hands. That's exactly what STEAM based education is about. So it's meant for writers, it's also meant for people with a scientific bent of mind. Uh, I'm getting some questions. Actually, I'll be more than happy to look at them. Just as soon as the session is about to wind up, I just have a couple of things to talk about. So robotics, is a couple of things. It just helps children think in a more integrated fashion about things that are happening around them, and things that they can actually use, that they can actually solve. So I'll give you an example here. Oh, wait, I'm just connecting something. Uh, right. Okay, something is wrong. I was building the small thing. We'd actually stuck a jharu next to one of our robots, and this jharu basically, when I asked one of the children whom I had an online session with, she said that she wanted to build a bai because she felt that, you know, with all this entire lockdown, there was so much of household work to do. So, you know, she was thinking of solutions to solve the problem. So I was so impressed because this thought process enables children to always be in a problem solving mode. So that was the most interesting thing I found, that this is exactly what we want to sort of inculcate in children, especially knowing that there is so much of uncertainty around us now, and 10 years, 20 years later, things are completely going to be very different. So, how do we help them sort of problem solve? And integrating everything, integrating from history to science to English to, or any language, Hindi to everything else that's happening around them is what is going to help, because today a software engineer cannot just be a software engineer, he also needs to be a designer. And similarly, so today, a designer cannot just be somebody who uses pen and paper or is good at drawing. He needs to be somebody who understands software really well. So today, since everything has been integrated, it's very important that this entire STEM thought process is inculcated in a very integrated way. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. If there are any questions, please let me know. I'll just take a look at the comment section to see if there's anything there. So, I can't see anything. So, just 1 second. I'll just ask her. I'll just ask them if there's any. Yeah, they're just saying that there are some questions, so I'll just answer them. Yeah. Okay, so Anusha has asked this question. Uh, my son is 5 years, 8 months old. What are the toys that can help him for brain activity? One of the things I showed you was, for example, snap circuits. You can also integrate all your storytelling along with Lego if you're interested in Lego. That's one thing you can do. Otherwise, very, very simple. There is something called Scratch for juniors. Start with that. So I myself have a 5-year-old child, and we integrate all her craft work along with a technical aspect of things, and all her stories along with the technical aspect of things. Result being, uh, so for example, if you're talking about a story, if you build a story around a child going to Mars, you know, there is so much you can talk about. Build that rocket as a craft, and then show her how gravity works, why is fire needed, why do you need fuel, connect it with your everyday cooking at home, and then talk about you know so it becomes a story, it also becomes a concept. You can build a rocket using Lego. You can talk about electricity, simple on off things, mechanics. So there is so much that can be done without having to invest in a separate toy, so to say. So there is a lot of basic robotics that can be done using the tools available already. Um, Likewise, so I would strongly suggest that you start using something called Scratch for juniors. It's really, really exciting. Children get to color, they also get to code. It's very, very interesting. So search for it. You'll definitely enjoy it. Then how do you introduce robotics to an 8-year-old? So an 8-year-old is actually capable to of doing really hardcore robotics. So there is this microprocessor that uh, is very very versatile. It's called an Arduino board. I'll actually show this. Yeah, this, it's an Arduino board. Uh, Use it. It's not as complicated as it looks. There is a lot of logic that goes into building projects using this. We also You will find a repository of things available online. You'll find a lot of libraries or programs available online. In fact, something as complicated as this car was built by 8 9 year old kids, and this is a distance sensing car. So when it moves, something comes in front of it, the car stops. So it's like that. So these are things that are built by 8 9 year olds. So you don't need to. I would say that you might refrain from going the conventional path. Lego at that age is not as interesting because the child never really gets the confidence of building something on their own. Because it's almost prefabricated for them. There's 100% certainty that whatever they build is going to work, which is not, they never get to really play around with wires or solder them. Or soldering might, you might not want to do at that age, but there are a lot of solderless boards like these um, breadboards. I'll show you one of these that come in. They can run so many exciting experiments using these. It's called a breadboard. Look up the Arduino. You'll find so many projects associated with an Arduino. If you look up our YouTube channel, The Young Chronicle, you'll find a lot of videos over there as well. And I would say don't go for a particular toy. Start with something that is integrated. Discovery has an integrated learning module where you learn programming along with life science, along with history and culture. So go for it. There is Scratch for seniors as well, and there is something called MIT App Developer. Uh, if your child is into, if you want your child to build a very basic app, a gaming app, go for it. And these are very intuitive. So, just maybe a couple of videos online or a very small introductory class online should be able to get you going. You don't need to buy anything in particular to start off with robotics particularly. So anything else, a lot of people ask me that their children are very interested in writing, but is robotics meant for them? Uh, so is that a question that you have? I can possibly answer that as well. I would say that to answer that, robotics is for everyone. Everybody needs to learn it now. It's more of a need than hobby. So I think and it's very interesting. So if you want, if your child is interested in fantasy stuff, he can build fantasy stories and program those fantasy stories. So that would be very exciting for them. Children get very interested in building fantasy stuff. Okay, so there is how to make a 5-year-old understand robotics. I think I covered that to some extent. So So any specific kit level wise introduction to robotics? So I'm not sure of kits particularly. I prefer using very very simple stuff. You can start with something like this. It's called Snap Circuits. It enables children to just start, put these buttons together, build a simple circuit, and they can start as early as 3 years. You can start off with getting them to play with magnets. Some of those mechanics games are very interesting. You can start them off, although they say 7 plus, you can start them off at the age of 5, because some of the experiments given there are very very simple to do. They're very exciting. For example, something as small as this, uh, a motor with a wheel. Very exciting for a child to understand that battery. And so you start with basics like this, and then you can move on to very very simple stuff using an Arduino board. So this is your minimum small investment that you should actually consider, uh, in. This is just for about 200, 300 bucks, easily available on Amazon. You can build so many small projects on it. For example, like I said, getting this motor to move. Just one second. I actually got it to happen. So, so very, very simple things can happen out of it. And okay, I wonder why it's suddenly not working. But yeah, okay. Looks like a problem with the power, battery, and something else going on. Okay, so basically, there are very simple things that children can start building and then move on to gradually more complex things. And you will find once a child is interested, they start doing their own stuff. So there is no controlling and stopping them. However, I found that using that MIT and the Scratch app is actually pretty cool. Kids would love it. So at any stage, you can start with the age of 5. There are different levels there. Uh, that integrates storytelling along with your robotics and scientific things. So go for it. And yeah, what can I access team-based learning program for my child like robotics? Okay, so this is from Madhuparna. Um, So see, my only concern with robotics is when you're looking at robotics, don't just look at something that's offering only programming and robotics. Go for a program that offers a complete STEM solution, like so like something that introduces them to reading, as well as writing, that is creative fantasy building stories, and something that also introduces robotics as one of the things. Because then what happens is the approach that the organization and the teachers take is a very integrated approach. It includes math automatically, it includes logical reasoning. It's not about just putting in some wires together and making something work. It's about understanding it holistically, understanding why are you doing it, how is this going to help, what are the fantasize different projects that you can make, or how you can make life simpler if you with this new learning. So anything that enables them to fantasize, build, that is the kind of program that you should go for when it comes to STEM based learning. So when my work at Curious Kids Media Tech is primarily to ensure that we have all of this in one platform. So my only problem is that we've got a lot of there are a lot of players offering this. Whatever you look at, you should look at the 360-degree approach. It shouldn't just be about joining some wires and making something work, but also whether it works or it doesn't. How is it working? Why is it working? What can I do with this? Does it there are 10 other things: logic, sequence, mathematics, 20 other things that a child learns when he does a particular project. Are those 20 other things being captured or not? That's more important. Creativity, design thinking, problem solving, are those things being dealt with or not? Because what we are trying to do is we're not trying to get the children to learn something new, we're getting them to learn. Once they get to do that, everything else is sorted. Then the child will be curious enough, and today there's no dearth of information available. If he's curious, he'll definitely get access to all kinds of information. So yeah, uh, anything else that I could look at? Just punch in a comment, and I'll be looking at the comments now. Can you give a link for Scratch after the live? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put that up. Um, yeah, I think I answered that. So great. I think this has been a very interesting session, and I'll just ask them if so. Great. Okay, so I think this is precisely what it is. My entire view on this, just to sum it up, is that go for an integrated learning plan, or a platform that's integrated learning, because when a child gets to start coding, right, there are lots of coding classes available now. Writing those lines of code is very boring for a child. So it only becomes interesting when there's an underlying logic that the child understands, or if there is an interesting aspect that the child wants to tap into. So if it integrates a story, if it integrates some videos, if it integrates robotics as one of those things, then it's more exciting. Because if it doesn't do that, then the creativity is all lost, and that's not exciting for children anymore. So that's what I would say. So look at my company's name is Curious Kids Media Tech Private Limited, and we run the Young Chronicle newspaper for kids as one of the offerings. This is what it is. But more than that, I think what why I'm mentioning this is it's that the founders basically have this vision to ensure that it's a 360-degree learning process. It's not just about reading, or it's not about robotics only. It's about reading, writing, robotics, publishing, art, everything integrated. Puzzle solving, for example. Chess is a very important aspect. I think kids should play chess. You should start as early as possible. So there are these simple things. It's not just about robotics, but it's about doing those things, anything that builds logical reasoning. It should start as early as 3.5 to 4 years, because it's not, reading is important, not as important as thinking is. The child will learn to read, he will learn to recognize characters, but it's very very important for the child to learn to build those correlations. And that comes across very well when you play chess, when you do scratch, for example, uh, and when you actually start a bit of logical sequencing. That's so these simple circuit boards and magnets, you can get them to play with magnets. It's very exciting for them to build different parts using a magnet. Those simple paper games that we used to play, do those. Get them to do a lot of craft. So simple craft along with a bit of mechanics can be very exciting to start with. Then for a 7 to 8 year old, you can actually introduce programming and robotics and go full throttle on it when you start. This is a very simple board. With this, along with some jumper wires, which look like this basically, and a very simple breadboard which looks like this, and a couple of LED bulbs, and you're sorted. The first experiment can be very simple. Get them to program a traffic light, get them to observe how a four-way signal works, how the sequence of the four-way works. So yeah, so this is one thing that is very exciting for kids, because the first program that we make kids do is actually program a traffic light. So this is that time when a child is about 7 years old. A lot of them then go back, observe how a four-way signal works. When the red light is on, which other signals are turning green, which ones are turning yellow, and then when they sit down to program it, it's very very exciting because it's logical. It's not uh, the language and how to code something is comes in secondary, but the logic behind it gets very exciting for kids to do. So those are very simple things. Simple. If you're starting for your 7 year old, go for this breadboard, Arduino, uh, program. I'll share links to some of these products on Amazon. Jumper wires and some LED lights and a 9-volt battery. Simple, and you're sorted. How to develop reading for children? Yeah. So reading for children basically. Okay. So go for level based learning. If your child is not interested in reading, there's a huge chance that whatever his uh, teachers are prescribing, or whatever books he's sort of laying his hands on, are a level above or a level below, and may not be of interest to him. So get to understand what your child's genre is, even if it is leisure reading, like comic books, for example. That does amount to reading. So let the child get the hang of it, get used to holding books even if it is a comic book or something like very Captain Squarepants or leisure based reading, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, let him read it. The joy of reading is what will get him to sort of pick it up as a habit. So do that. And one of the things that somebody has asked is left and right brain even a concept? uh, no, I would say that the line is completely blurred. Even if you think that your child, I don't even know how people distinguish whether a child is left brain or right brain. Quite frankly, if you tell a child who's very, very creative, only interested in music and creative things and stories and not interested in studies at all, if you give him examples, if you tell him to program a game that's or a musical sequence, he will get to doing it. He will start enjoying it. So just understand what your child is interested in and then start figuring, work back. And uh, and if a child is technically minded, not interested in reading at all, let him do that, because eventually he will have to start reading. Even if he reads his text based material, he will have to read to learn more. So over a period of time that habit will develop. So as long as your child is interested in any one of these two aspects, if he's interested in creativity, science is, you can figure out how to work the science part out, even the math part out. For example, you can assign codes and numbers to musical notes and then get him to build a sequence on it and use it as a math puzzle. So there is nothing that can't be done when you're. So just think of it as this way: if the child is interested in artistic things, use those things to develop problems that help him to develop this side of things as well, the logical bent of mind as well. And if the child is interested in the logical side of things, not good at drawing mechanical, get him to do mechanical drawing, 3D drawing, because eventually 3D printing and all of these things are going to be very, very important. So eventually over a period of time he will end up or she will end up you know understanding the whole spectrum of things. So that's very important. Easy robotic experiment to do with toddlers. um, okay, so I think I give that as an example, although let me think of something else. um, so one is, begin with I'll actually talk about this. This is not robotics, actually this is primarily about organics, and then I'll talk about something that's robotics related also. It's just struck me. uh, so one of the stories we were talking about, where there was a bird, Choo Choo Chidiya is a character that we've developed, and a turtle. So suddenly one question came up: why is a turtle different from a bird? And that's when the whole story of evolution started, and this was only for a 4-year-old child. So only if you're forthcoming, you can actually build these stories up. That why do you think a turtle became a turtle and not a bird? And why did a bird become, have wings and not, a shell on top of it? So very exciting question. And so these are questions you can build stories on. Even when it comes to robotics, the first thing that you can teach a child is, the first thing that a child learns to do is switch on and switch off. In fact, even an infant starts looking at the fan first. So show him how a fan works. This is a very good, it's called Snap Circuits. It's a very good game to begin with. You can start off with this. You can show children how a motor works. Open a motor and show it to them. There are also, if you go up to our channel, our YouTube channel, The Young Chronicle, you will find some of those things there. You'll find how what is a motor, how does it work, those kind of things. So show them that. Show them how magnets work. Magnets are very exciting. You can build something and then use a magnet to push it if you have two magnets stuck. So say for example, you build a very small, car made out of atta. You stuff a magnet onto it, and then you take another magnet and you start chasing the other object. You can do simple things like that. So the child learns. You can ask the child to stick magnets on different things and understand what is a metal, what is a non-metal. Very, very simple things. Tell them a story about rockets, about a rocket. See how, tell them to explore how a rocket works. So those are things that are very exciting. These days, children are very excited about aliens, space travel, all of that. So they're not alien to any of this. In fact, most of their cartoon shows and all have all of these things. So it's very, they get very excited if they feel that they can make something around it. So start with these simple experiments, very, very basic stuff. Use magnets, use switches, explain to them what switches are. You can use snap circuits. Start with Scratch Junior. They have so many options available that it's very exciting. There are also some of these, if you want to go for products, there are some products that Lego has, Lego We Do, and then there are these simple products that there is something called Botley. Uh, it's a small coding robot. So this is something that actually when children draw, the robot follows their drawing. So it's very exciting. This okay, I forgot about this. Wait, I'll show you how this works. There is, so this card has two bulbs over here. You can get them to build a greeting card and uh, and build a circuit behind it to get the bulb to light up. So this is a circuit behind it. You can get them to build this up. So there are these things that you can do actually. Make an electric card. It's actually there on our YouTube channel also. So some of these things are very exciting for 3 to 4 year olds. Um, so that's about easy robotic experiments for kids. This in fact, making an electronic card with an LED bulb can be very exciting for older kids as well. If you want, I can share a link to one of those experiments below once this live is over. Then yeah, what is structural thinking and design thinking? This is one topic that I wanted to talk about, and why is it so important? Because it shapes up the thought process of a child. When you look at problem solving, say for example, there's a lot of, there was this entire thing about, okay, let me use COVID as an example. One of the problems that all of us are facing is maids. There are no maids at home. When you talk about children, they find it, they do discuss about how they need to clean their room every day. So one of the kids said that he would be very excited if he got a chance to build a robot to clean the house. And we discussed what are the various mechanisms and what are the various parts the robot would have then. So he said there should be a suction mechanism like a vacuum cleaner. There should be a sensor so that the robot doesn't bang into objects and people and trip them over. So there were different things that came up. This is design thinking. When you look at a problem, you think, okay, there should be a solution to it. How can we build that solution up? These are the 10 things that will be required. How much can we actually build? How much do we need to learn to build? What are the different materials and raw materials we have already? And what all will we need to source? These are different things that kids can actually look at solving and then building the product. So, this is what your design thinking is all about. Thinking of a problem and thinking of a design to solve it. Structural thinking is also very similar. It's about how to, develop these cause effect relationships and building a structure about the whole problem that you're thinking of. So they're almost used synonymously. So this is something that the entire STEAM based approach actually helps in building up. So that's what I wanted to say. When you're looking at any program, if you want to enroll your child into one, look at something that offers a 360-degree approach. And not just one of those things. Like learning to program or to code might not be as exciting as actually building and looking at a real life problem, solving it, thinking of another problem, fantasizing about it, writing something about it, or designing something around it. It should be something that offers a 360-degree solution, and also the child should also learn something in between. Like for example, when you build a car like this, that the one that I'd shown you, the child needs to learn time, speed, distance. वो automatically आ जाता है बच्चे को. So without formulas, the child actually learns how much time, speed, distance there needs to be. When you get the sensor to work, you need to ensure that there's a particular distance, after which the sensor will start beeping, and the car should stop. So the child needs to learns all these things, in fact. So whatever program you're going for, look for these solutions. Um, Okay, so somebody is saying that my child likes robotics, but gets bored very easily. So that's just an attention span problem. And it's not even a problem. If he's a child, I don't know what age your child is, um, but it's but it's okay. It's just children are excited about 20 things. They also get bored after some time. So it's just about reintroducing things to them. And these days, I think if you're looking at this particular time, everything has started getting boring and mundane for them. So it's okay. Give them that leeway. 15 to 20 minutes for a young child who's you know like about 6 or 7 years old should be good. But what happens is that slowly and gradually, if you start with if you start with simple experiments, some children, you have to understand what the temperament of the child is. Does he like to be challenged? There are some children who like to take challenging projects up. There are some children who like to take easy projects up. So if it's not easy enough, they'll get demotivated. There are some, if it's not challenging enough, they'll lose interest. So think about where your child lies and see if the program is able to adapt to your child's liking. So then that's something that will be interesting. So you look at where your child is, benchmark your child, discuss with the faculty facilitator, and then ensure that the program is built according to that. So if it is a very plug and play kind of program, then it doesn't work. It should be a very adaptive program where there is something that's available plug and play sorts, and then there is some part where the one-on-one interaction also comes in. So look at those things as well. Um 4 years old is a perfect age to begin with. So couple it with storytelling and you should be good to go. Now I'll touch upon one important aspect that some parents also talk about, is that does robotics mean too much screen time? No. I think the child is doing so much with their hands as well that it's not. And screen time, I would say, if is dangerous if a child is passively looking at something without blinking, without thinking too much. But when it comes to even regular education online, the child is actually thinking so much, writing during that time, and doing so much more, that it's not like he's only looking at the screen all the time. So don't worry too much about the screen time, especially if the child is 8 9 years old. There should be no worry about screen time, so to say, because we are in an unfortunate circumstance. But even apart from that, robotics, using scratch, doing something, because there's so much mental activity happening, uh, that it doesn't really amount to just gaping at something. It's not like the child is watching a video on a mobile phone where he's just looking at something. So that's one part that I wanted to touch upon. Uh, and when you look at robotics, please don't look at only building a robot. Think about it, get him to fantasize about it as well. And when it comes to an 8 or 9 or a 10-year-old or an older child, there are lots of older children who have not been introduced to robotics. Make them build a drone, make them build, and don't use those ready-made kits. I would say, look up different videos on how a drone is built. Look at all the parts that are required, see if there is anything available on Amazon that gives you all those parts, or else just procure them separately, and look at how it is done, because child will learn how to do aero modeling. He'll learn about the different axes, this kind of the axes. This will help him in coordinate geometry later on, which is a big pain point in grade 11 and 12. So those are things that will actually help. So I haven't spoken about, no question came up for the older kids, so I haven't really spoken about the older kids, but I would like to say that they can build some really complex projects up. We were building a proper robot that could walk, so coordinating the walking pattern. So they had to analyze how humans walk, how dogs walk, how cats walk, and how to get their robot to actually walk. Then placing different sensors on it, then also sort of figuring out if there could be a recording mechanism in it. So they had to design their own robot and then actually compile it together. So at Curious Kids, we actually have a platform. We have a WhatsApp platform where we sort of discuss what projects children want to make, and they can sort of and they get help on how to go about their project. But it's a completely non-commercial aspect of things. If you want, and if First Cry allows, I'll put a link to that. Um, but basically what we need to inculcate is this thought process, because with there are so many technologies that are coming up. There is Google virtual reality coming up, there is 3D printing that's already there and coming up in a big way. Children need to learn so much because these are going to be technologies that everybody will be using all the time. So you know, now it's not as easy and as easygoing as what it used to be in our times. It has to be more fast paced because basic level information is already there. So what you need to worry about is how to get my child to learn, how to make my child think, because there's so much of an information overload. If my child doesn't know how to think, then how is he going to, you know, sift out that information and organize it in his head? That's more of a challenge, and our generation is facing that challenge. So their generation needs to start early to understand what is important, what's not important, what to take, what to not take, and then put it all together. So their thought process needs to be more clear and streamlined, which it already is, but needs to be better because things are going to be very, very different. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I think I've covered up a lot of points. I'll also ask, feel free to ask any questions if you have any. What books or reading material can I introduce to get him interested in coding? Um, so books, so there are various Arduino related books. In fact, there is a website called Instructables. You should definitely look that up. Uh, you know, it's very interesting. Even for adults, I think it's very interesting. So from building music equalizers to, you know, God knows what not, those guys are actually sitting down and building there. I already mentioned that use this, invest in an Arduino board or Raspberry Pi. There are two things that are very, very versatile. Arduino is versatile and so is Raspberry Pi. Uh, these are basically microcontrolling boards. You can do hundreds of experiments with just one. So, so invest in these. And books, so you will find a lot of books on Amazon on Arduino. They cover a lot of instructables for older kids. You know, there are lots of ebooks available as well. So try those out and then move on. But I would say that books are not the best way to look at robotics. There are a lot of videos. You can go with those actually. And in fact, I would say that if you're introducing a child to robotics, then start with the fundamentals of electricity first. So how to use a lot of projects and a lot of teachers talk about robotics, but they don't talk about components of electricity, how to use a voltmeter, for example. Some of these projects like Lego and stuff, they have their prefabricated things. The child builds an entire robot without understanding what voltage is, or what a capacitor is, or what a transistor is. So don't go in for kits, go for look at projects, look at instructables.com. You will find hundreds and thousands of projects over there. Uh, look at those, identify what project you want to do, and then go for it. One of the Yeah, so Curious Kids Media Tech is for all age groups from starting from 4 to 14. So you will find lots of content for these different age groups as well. You could actually look up the Young Chronicle, and you'll find a lot of stuff on the Young Chronicle. So so yeah, so Saha, I hope I've answered your question. I'm not exactly sure. Um, Sorry, Dimple Saha. It's Saha Dimple. So sorry. Yeah. So Dimple, I hope I've answered your query. Look up look up the website that I mentioned, and also look up the ebooks available for Arduino and Raspberry Pi. You'll find a lot of them there. So this has been a very exciting interaction. There were a good number of questions as well. So it was quite exciting. Uh, I'll again sum it up for those people who joined in a little late. When you think about STEM, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And and if you uh, if you look this up, this entire approach is not just about robotics. It's about it's about how to get your child to think, and it's a summation of an entire spectrum of learning. Like it just means that when you introduce your child to a topic, you should be actually touching upon the logical side, the science side of it. If there is a technology involved, the technology side of it. There should be some logical reasoning along with it. So that's the mathematics side. These days, STEM also implicitly includes art as well, arts. So, is there any creative thinking around it? Um, so, STEM is primarily about ensuring that all these five aspects get covered. STEAM, it's called STEAM now: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So, so ensure that whatever program, when you're thinking about robotics, don't just think about robotics. Think about problems and how to solve those problems using technology. Could be one of those things. And when you're using technology, of course, you have to think of the design side of things, the art side of things, you have to think of what different smaller problems will you need to solve this bigger problems. That's the creative side of things. When you're doing all of that, STEM is already covered. So which is why they say that robotics is a part of STEM, but STEM and robotics are two different things. Like I said, kids who were part of a science class came up with this book called Strange Things. This is you can look it up. It's available on Amazon. It was about aliens and robots and humans living together. So so it was very emotional, very scientifically done, and it all came out after a robotics class. This was not really a language class, but because after every robotics class, I always encourage children to fantasize and to dream of solutions that they can now sort of develop after learning the new things that they've learned. They end up coming up with a lot of abstract stories. Some of them I also discussed over here on this platform, but every class has like a plethora of interactions, such interactions. We compiled some of them in this book. So if your child is interested in science, he can be interested in writing as well. But the topic should be of interest to him. So he could be a science fiction writer. Similarly, if your child is interested in writing, he needs to be abreast with science as well, because he will be using a lot of technology while in the process of writing. Plus, these days, any real life story cannot include. It's not possible that it does not include science. So, so therefore, if you want to be a writer, also somewhere down the line, you need to have that logical bent of mind. You need to have your plots designed sequentially for that, and you also need that science content. So for that, you need to develop that scientific bent of mind. So it's that left brain, right brain, two different spheres of the brain are not, it's not a concept anymore. It has to be an integrated concept, and there are lots of platforms and methodologies available now that can enable that. So Juhi, guide for a 6-year-old to start with the robotics concept. I've already covered it during this video. So maybe you would like to watch the video after the live session is over, because it would be a repetition for the others. So, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Then I'll just ask the team if that's it. They've been very kind. First Cry, you've been very, very kind. You've been sending all the questions as an SMS, which has been great, very well managed, and I'm really happy with the way, the approach that First Cry has been taking so far in managing this. So thank you for having me on this live session. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.